Bienvenue. Les aventures de Frank et Ben. Cinquième série. Frank and Ben go to Lac de Plaisir with Geneviève and Minot. Quatorzième histoire. Frank and Ben go to Lac de Plaisir, part 14. As Geneviève and Frank paddled their canoe northwards through the narrowest and most rugged part of Lac de Plaisir, it is unquestionably in their minds how peaceful and relaxing this part of the day is compared to what has preceded it. After all, what could have been more heady and exciting than the plane ride in the early part of the morning, with its sudden swoops and equally sudden climbs, its low-level flights over water, trees, cliffs, and cottages? Or what could have been more fast-paced and hectic than the drive around Lac de Plaisir, trying to find the best places from which to photograph it? Due to time restrictions, they had planned to hit only a few sites, but Professor Bedard was so surprised and taken in by the many charms and features of Lac de Plaisir that he had them making a lot of unscheduled stops. Nor did things calm down later when they were in Frank's boat and with all of Professor Bedard's scuba gear on board, speeding off to the most remote part of the lake. Although helping out in doing some underwater photography was a new experience for all of the young people save Minot, Geneviève, no less than Frank, was starting to get tired and even somewhat irritated when Professor Bedard seemed to have nothing on his mind but exploring the lake from top to bottom. But now they are out on the lake alone, and although exploring it, without anyone asking them in however kind a way to do things for them or pay attention to this or that, the canoe glides along with only the slightest effort, and so too their conversation that arises out of long stretches of simply looking at and listening to all that is around them. Happy is Frank to be with Geneviève on this lake in mid-afternoon. Time now seems to have slowed down and every moment become enlarged and significant. How wonderful it is to be here, he thinks to himself as he regards the young woman in front of him. Although he can only see the back of her now, except when she occasionally turns around and makes an amusing remark or shoots him a delightful smile, it doesn't bother him in the least. The sight of her strong arms and perfectly shaped shoulders, the smooth nape of her neck, the winsome ponytail that hangs freely below her cap, and the delicate play of her back as she paddles at the front of the canoe give him as much pleasure as listening to her talk, for there are occasions when Frank, asking her a question, prompts her to speak long and well on a subject, as he paddles along behind her with sure but effortless strokes.